I'm the Northeast Kansas Library consultant, and today I'm happy that we're reaching outside of the Neckles region. Consultant from North Central Kansas Library System, that would be Don, some of you might know, recommended this gentleman that you can see his cameras on, Rodger Charles, and he's from the Peabody Township Library. So let me go ahead and get my questions pulled up, which I have in another tab, and we'll get underway. So again, thanks everybody for being here. This is our first installment of the Sunflower State Small Libraries program for 2023. We're trying to do these every month, about the second Tuesday of the week, and I am posting to CanLibel, our listserv, so keep an eye out for that. I also do it on Neckles, and I will mention this probably again later. I am looking for people to fill out spots for the rest of the month, so be brave like Rodger and our previous guests. It's a great chance for you to tell the library's story. And with that, let's get to the story. Can you please go ahead and introduce yourself and the name of the library, even though I've already kind of done that? A little bit about yourself.
My name is Rodger Charles. I am the library director at Peabody Township Library in Peabody, Kansas. I've been here since 2011. I started as the library director in 2011. I was originally on the library board, and both of our librarians at the time retired, and for I think the third time in life. And so I came in and took over because I knew the technology of the library, and so been here since 2011.
Great. I've been at the regional system here since 2011 myself, so we've both been kind of around the same amount of time, just haven't crossed paths. So what can you tell us about Peabody, Kansas, for those of us who might not be familiar with it?
Peabody, Kansas is a small community. The community itself is about 900 people, but we are a township library. And so we service, our population base is about 1,100, a little over 1,100. And so that makes us a Service Center 1 library, I do believe. Great. And so we're established in 1874 as the first free public library in the state of Kansas. Mr. Peabody donated the original building, which now sits right behind the library. In 1914, our librarian, we'd outgrown that building, and so she wrote the Carnegie Foundation, and we received a $10,000 grant to build the building we're in now. So we've been at Carnegie since 1914.
Excellent. Can you go ahead and tell us a little bit more of the details about how your modern library operates? So your hours, staffing, and all of that kind of thing.
Okay. We're running about 24 hours a week open to the public. Tuesday, and it's on the sign there at the bottom. Tuesday, the hours are, we're open from 9 to noon, and then we're open from 2 to 8 p.m. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're open from 2 to 6, and then Saturday, we're open 9 to noon. And so I've got myself, and I basically get to work from 9 to 5, Tuesday through Friday at this point. And then I have an assistant that's a trainee position that she works, I think, like 10 or 12 hours a week. And then it gets a little extra, of course, when we have the projects going on. But, and then I have one library substitute that comes in and works as well.
Let's see. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this physical space of the library. As you mentioned, it's a Carnegie building. What can you tell us? I've heard that there might be some plans for some additions or adding on to that. So
yes,
what do you have going on there?
We got started. We've been working on it since 2011. When I started in 2011, we were the least funded per capita library in the state of Kansas. Unfortunately, it was a long way up the ladder before the next library showed up. We were incredibly underfunded. And one of the township board members went around, who is in charge of our funding, went around and visited several other libraries in the state. And then he came back and reported how grossly underfunded we were. And so we got a bump in our pay. And so once that happened, then we had some capital and we started to make some major inroads in the library. Started off, we added climate control in our upstairs. So got rid of the noisy window units that were right behind the reference desk. We added computer carols and a cabinet and contained all the spaghetti from the computers that was strung everywhere. And people were constantly getting tripped up in, and got them off the desk, off tabletops, and really cleaned that area up nicely. Added an ADA water fountain. 2016, we added a wheelchair lift, remodeled the bathroom, made ourselves handicap accessible. And then also in 17, we put part of our roof, we had a rubber bladder installed around the bottom of the valley. We were able to do all of that work based on what the township did for us. And right now, our big projects, on the picture there of the library, if you notice the concrete steps coming up the front door, yeah, those are solid concrete steps. That is one big slab of concrete in there. And the problem is the weight over time now has sort of been pushing in the middle of that west wall, starting to create some problems downstairs. So we were working on, we're going to be taking those steps out completely and putting in a porch that's freestanding and self-supporting. And then we're also going to fix the basement so the library floor doesn't have the sags and dips and weaves upstairs, and fix some of the problems that were created because of that walls cracking and stuff. Get it all put back to the original, what it was in 1914. The front porch, the goal is, it'll be nice. We could have like small venues out there for small music groups, different genres of music. And we could have community groups come in and offer like meal deals and treats, and have the community come in and have music on the lawn at the library, and just everybody come in and hang out. I'm looking forward to May, Cinco de Mayo, first chance we get to. My plan is, can I find a mariachi band? And it's time to bring in a taco truck.
Nice.
So, but just a great opportunities to be and hang out at the library.
Yeah, it sounds like some great community events. Our guest a few months ago was also from a Carnegie library in Linden, and they've done a lot of work with their outside. And sometimes that's about the only thing you can do at a Carnegie library once you've used all of that space. I did just want to ask if you could tell us, it sounds like with the elevator and all of that, you are using 2 floors of this building. Can you just tell us a little bit about the layout, about how it's being used?
Okay. The upstairs is the library, the entire upstairs, from north to south. The north side is my children's section, and then the south side is my adult fiction, and then behind the reference desk is my nonfiction. And so we utilize the entire upstairs for the library. Our basement, the south side of our basement is one giant open meeting room. That's our Ann Potter meeting room. And it's got a kitchen off the side of it. And with the remodel, we've got a security gate that we can pull and secure the library, so we can have groups coming in after hours to use the basement. And we rent the basement out. We're just paying for the utilities basically. But I think it's a 75-inch smart panel hanging on the wall down there. Our Wi-Fi, we've got over 100 megabytes per second of fiber optic bandwidth that people can use. And I also have a sound system with Bose speakers in the ceiling. So it's a really nice place to set. set up downstairs. And yeah, our basement is really getting used by multiple groups in the community on a regular basis.
That's excellent. And it's really nice that you're able to embed so much technology, because as a person who's worked in Carnegie buildings for networks, it can be a real challenge with those very hefty, substantial buildings to get wires run and all of that. So that might have been a challenge for you as well.
So I'm really kind of happy about the fact that, yes, we're a historic Carnegie Library. We're on the National Historic Registry. So a lot of things we can't do. But we're a historic building. And, you know, we've got the original tables and chairs that came in 1914
Oh, wow.
with the wood surfaces. And somebody came in before I got here and put Formica on one of my patron tables and on the reference desk. This last year, we were able to get the Formica part taken off and wood but put back in place to make it more of the historic. We're keeping the historic feel, but at the same time, I've got the modern technology that's right here, and the modern stuff can coexist with the historical integrity, and they don't have to cancel each other out.
Gotcha.
They can be blended. And
Great.
you don't believe me, come check it out. You don't even recognize my technology that's in here. It's just part of the fabric of the library.
Well, you seem like a great steward for this historical building. I wanted to jump a little out of the physical space, because I want to make sure with these short programs, we don't have a lot of time with you. But I had heard about one program, and I really wanted to hear a lot more about it. You have some people from out of state working with you, and you have a program where you are kind of helping shape the future of librarianship. Can you just tell us a little bit about this program? Because I think it's going to be kind of inspiring for some of us.
So when I came in, you know, I noticed, you know, in dealing with other libraries, okay, you got a large library and it becomes very compartmentalized. Okay, you got somebody that their job is circulation. You got another person whose job is ILL. Another person is acquisitions. And each person has their own kind of department and their own niche. Well, in a small library, I am the department, okay? There's me. And so therefore, small libraries, you have to know every aspect of what it takes to run the library. And so it started off, I had a library sub in here for a while, and he was coming in and filling out, and he was kind of didn't know what he wanted to do with his life. He was trying to figure out, he was between careers. And in the process of him working in here as a sub, he kind of fell in love with the library, and he ended up going to Emporia State and got his degree in library information management. And then lo and behold, he took off, and now he is currently down in, I think it's Arizona, at a university, and he's in charge of their library information management system. And so that kind of got the ball started into thinking, okay, why don't we make a second position in the library? When it was time to expand, there was too much for me to take care of. And so we made the second position at kind of like a greenhouse or training position. And the second person we hired was a student at Emporia State working on the MLS. And she came in, well, again, you got to have access, you got to have every aspect of the library covered. And so she got exposure to everything in the library, every element. And so she graduated, I believe it was 2021. And she was also working on archiving. And so she's now has a job with another library out of state, and she's working with their archiving. And so the third person we have in that position now, she's from here in Peabody, and she just completed her associate's degree. And she starts with Emporia State this month, working on her bachelor's degree headed for her MLS. So our position is I look at our small libraries as kind of like a greenhouse for future librarians. I really hope we can start getting some of them to stick in Kansas and not run out of state. But I
Sure.
can't control that. All I can do is get them the knowledge. And I said it's a great thing for a student, because then what areas do you not want to be involved in?
Hmm.
Okay. If you don't do well with children, might want to not be a children's librarian. Okay. If you don't do well with adults, then try the kids side. And so, like I said, we're looking at that kind of position, and I'm like, it's something that a small library can do because of the nature of who we are. You have to know all of it, and you have to do all of it. And so that's where we got going. So I'm the library board. We sit down and talk about, and yeah, this position is now we are a training library looking for people that are interested in becoming librarians to come in. We hire them in part-time to get them the experience. Can't pay them what they're worth, but hopefully, they're graduating with a master's degree and 2, 3, 4, 5 years of experience with it. Hopefully that's worth their time.
Yeah, and I recently finished the program in 2020, and I can say that having that experience in the libraries really makes the education so much, in one way, easier, because those that don't have the experience often don't have those opportunity to draw on their past experiences. And so if you have that ability to kind of workshop some of that inside your actual job, it really makes the program much more relevant to you. So I really applaud you all for really giving a helping hand to future librarians and those students. I think it sounds like a really great program. I know my system will, if you were in our region, then you could apply and we could give you funds as well. And so if those of you who are in the Neckles region, keep that in mind, that if you have a MLS student, make sure that you're applying for some of that funding that we can get out there to you. Let's
I'd encourage all small libraries. Okay. This is something we can do. Okay. Just because we're small doesn't mean we can't make an impact. We have a huge possibility. We can make a huge difference by putting this out there. And, if you could imagine a set of graduates with MLS degrees coming out with 3 to 5 years of experience, with their hands dirty in every department in every area in library science, okay, how much better would our state be? And how much better would our communities be? And so, I'd encourage any small library, don't think because you're small you can't. Yes, you can. You just got to decide you're going to do it.
Yeah. And I forget exactly how you put it, but you mentioned something to me about, that your reach is far outside of Peabody and your township. You really are trying to be a global organization, which is really neat for a small library from a town of, you say, 900 people.
And well, okay, I'm not intending to reach out beyond the state of Kansas. It's just the two that have come through the library, they both left the state. So yeah, I'm reaching across the country whether I want to or not. But whatever, maybe we could attract some of those people from that state to come here, whatever. Libraries will benefit because of what's going on, and got to keep the focus big and not just become so encapsulated on my one community.
Let's go ahead. I'm going to stop sharing that picture of the front of the library, because the next question I wanted to talk about, one of the things I was impressed about was that you have a page on your website that's dedicated to accessibility and wayfinding. And I thought that people might want to see what kind of things you have, and you might talk about just how you decided to give this so much space on your website. So I'm going to go ahead and share this, and you should be able to see that they've put together this kind of a three-dimensional view of the library space. It's kind of a series of slides, but it really points out all the various accessible aspects of the library, such as, you start with this entrance that's handicap accessible, and then kind of goes into look at other parts of the library. This also, if you were to go to, let's see, it's Peabody kansaslibrary.org or kslibrary.org, as you can probably see up there at the top. This will also give you the ability to see a little bit more about the interior and just the surrounding area of that library. But you can see that they've kind of put these text to highlight these different parts of the library. But yeah, can you tell us a little bit about how this came to be and how long it's been around and how it was developed?
Okay. Several years ago, my library system, NCKL, sent me to a MALA workshop up in the Kansas City area on handicap accessibility and dealing with people with disabilities in the public setting. And one of the things that was pointed out, yes, there's my library. One of the things they pointed out with it, most of us take for granted because, we're not mobility impaired. People that have mobility impairments, they don't just get in the car and go to their destination like we do. Okay, they need to know what's going on. They need to know, before they get there, where's the handicap parking space? Okay, where's a backup handicap parking space in case the one with the facility is taken? What are the sidewalks like between the handicap space, and what obstacles am I going to overcome? Once I get to the building, how do I get in the building? Can I travel between floors? Even in the restroom that you have up there, what kind of handicap assistance do they have in there? These are the things they have to look at and consider before they even get in their car to come to the library. And so when we got a grant to redo our library website, and we went and we had this program set up, and now people with disabilities can come here and search the website. They can take basically a virtual tour of the entire library, and hey, that's my Xbox. And so, but they can come in and take a virtual tour and basically navigate every public area of the library and see what they need to see before they even show up. And so that's the reason we put it together, so individuals that are mobility impaired can have access to it.
Since you've put that up, have you got any feedback from your patrons about, it's always nice to hear if it's making an impact like we hope.
I have received a lot of feedback, all of it positive, about this section of the website. None of it from individuals who are mobility impaired. So, but I've had a lot of people, even from out of state. They enjoyed, they lived in Peabody, they moved away. They love going to the site and just, taking the tour of the library and just remembering back in the day when they attended the library.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of mentioned that it's although the focus is accessibility, it really also kind of helps with wayfinding as well, because all of us, if we haven't been somewhere, our confidence might be a little low, and sometimes we don't really know if we're comfortable talking to somebody at the front desk, or so that kind of is helpful for people of all abilities.
Yes,
I think. And we don't have a lot of time left, and so I want to make sure that we hit some of the things that I find maybe the most interesting, and also give you a moment or so if we don't catch anything to kind of feature anything that you feel like these viewers today, and we are recording. So anybody who's seeing it asynchronously needs to see. But I think one thing that I really want to talk about that you will see featured if you go to their page is a little thing about Figment's realm, and you can see that here. And there's a video with Rodger about it. Do you want to talk to us just a little bit about what is Figment's realm?
This Figment's realm. We have some we kind of developed. We have a pet dragon. There's a whole story now line that's, that goes along with it. We have a pet dragon in the library, and Figment is very bashful. And so we've taken one room, and it's got, the walls are painted with different stuff for kids. And the kids can go in there and they can have time. And they sit down, and they can go in and read a book to Figment, or they can go in and just tell Figment a story. And then occasionally Figment will write them a letter, but the letter does not arrive through the post office. And the letter usually arrives someplace that they have no explanation of how the letter got there. And how did Figment know I was going to be here, kind of a thing. And but it's just, here it is. And so we got kids coming in, and they'll sit down in there, and they'll plop on the floor, and they'll read Figment a story. They'll talk to him, just have a time, and just have that kind of just an opportunity to be a kid and use their imagination again. And the kids love the little room. It's just a little closet. I mean, what could you possibly? But the kids do. We had a lady in town that Stephanie Axe Lego. She came in and she painted all the images, and we just kind of collaborated together, and she and I were brainstorming, and she put it up. And I mean, there is stuff up there from different types of books. There's a couple sections of books in there. There's 2 bookshelves, and the books, all of them are real books. They're not fabricated. The hope is that kids will come in, see the books, and then ask, is this a real book? And we can hook them up with it. So, but there's stuff in there about Peabody history. There's stuff in there from different stories, and people can just, the kids can come in, and I've got adults that go in there and just kind of turn around and around and around. And the walls are so busy, you can be in there 3 times a week and not see everything.
Well, it seems like, and I know again with Carnegie libraries, you don't always have a lot of space. And so it's nice that you're able to have a little space like that. That's so important. Obviously, it really expands outside its physical space. I'm guessing it's probably something that people kind of take with them as after their visit, and look forward to next time to see what kind of letter they might get, or what it might inspire in them. So that's just a really neat part of the library. And I do want to encourage you all to check out on the website, because one thing that they do really good job of that I noticed was using video and other multimedia, like we showed with your accessibility tour. I did have a question on there to see if you want to talk a little bit about how the library embraces some of this technology and multimedia.
Right now, we're probably one of the most technologically advanced places in town. We do have the most free Wi-Fi available 24/7, 365. And so, yeah, and we need to stay up there and keep pushing forward. When I started, we had a Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation grant for computers. The downside is I had 4 desktops that all needed to be retired the same year. That our budget can't replace 4 desktops in 1 year. And so I got it set. So now they're staggered, and we replace 1 computer a year and keep things fresh and keep things going and moving forward. But, my primary focus is still books. We've still got more books being checked out than anything. But public libraries today are not focused entirely on books. And if we are, we're missing the boat. The state library website with all of those incredible software programs out there, they have made a huge difference in my community. I have people taking the universal class things and getting credit. I've got people, kids doing the Learning Express. I've got a lot of people using the audiobooks and ebooks. I can't afford to keep a collection like that in-house. Having that there is huge. All this stuff is available, and it levels the playing field between the smaller libraries and the larger libraries.
Mhm.
It puts us on the same footing. And so technology, we have to, and again, I'm a historic building, okay? Yes, 1914, we are old. I don't want to do anything to damage that integrity. But if you do it right, you can marry the two and they are not competing with each other. And so we just have to be creative in the way we look at things.
Well, Rodger, this kind of takes us to its time, and I can't think of a better way to end. I think that's such a great point that you left us with. So I want to thank you for being with us. I look forward to coming outside of my region at some point and visiting down the road, because you've shown us so many neat things that I want to see in person. And I want to meet with you in person as well, because you're a great library director. I can just tell it. And then that's why your consultant, I think, recommended you. And I want to take that as an opportunity, as Rodger can probably say, this wasn't probably too painful for him. It gave him an opportunity to tell this library story. So I would hope that he would encourage you, like I am right now, to reach out to me. It's dan@neckles.org. If that's easiest for you, just reach out, and please volunteer to be one of our guests this month so that you can share your story with your patrons if you want to, because we will record this, or with your board members so that they can see what you're doing. But it's just an opportunity for you to get that story out and do a little bit of advocacy in your town, and as Rodger's kind of pointed out, outside of the boundaries of there. And I just want to point out one other thing here is that we're sponsoring this program from our Unbound from Northeast Kansas Library System. That is a podcast where we interview great people like Rodger, and maybe he'll even be a guest on our next season if I ask him real nice, because I bet we could talk even longer. But look for that, Unbound from Northeast Kansas Library System, on anywhere that you listen to podcasts. So if you just have some shelving work or something like that, a quick drive that you need, I hope that you'll use it as an opportunity to dive deeper into librarianship. So thank you all for being here. I'm sure if you have any questions for Rodger, he'd be happy to take them. Just look at that website at peabodykansaslibrary.org. And thanks for joining us, and I hope to see you next month.